Okay, well, so these comments are only going to make sense on the day this video premieres. So if you're watching it anytime after that, it's probably not going to make sense. But you already knew, man, that I couldn't let the other Bravo go without bringing this one in next. And so earlier this morning, the G10 version of this Bravo One dropped, and now in the late morning hours, we're going to drop the upgraded version of this Bravo. And man, are these Bravos something else. Let's go ahead and just dive right in. I mean, you saw the G10 version earlier, and in that video, we did this drop point G10 version. Stonewash black blade, all blacked out, and man, was I enamored by this knife. And so as part of that, I brought this one in just briefly to say I'm trying to make some decisions. So man, let's check this one in and check it out. So this is also a Bravo designed by Mikkel Williamson, but it's in M390 steel. Yeah, titanium, full titanium scales, titanium backspacer, titanium milled pocket clip. It's got a little bit different system for a lanyard. This one's got a pin where the other one had a hole in the scales. This one's got a tanto blade with a hollow ground, and it's also got fullers cut into the blade. So you got two methods of deployment, actually three, I suppose. You have the back flipper and a thumb flick off of them fullers, and then the Spidey flick off of the fullers. And the action on this one far surpasses that G10 version. This thing is stupid drop shut. Yeah. Doesn't need to be coaxed, just like gravity get a hold of it, and it's dropping. A superior lockup on it. I mean, this thing is, wow, it is stunning. I had a little break there. I had to take a little break. My allergies are killing me, man. All right, no worries, but we're back at it. So, I mean, this thing, how did this fly so far under the radar? That's what I don't understand. I mean, I'll tell you, I passed on this knife a bunch in the G10 version and this upgraded version. And here's the thing. If you'll hang to the end of the video and I cover price and availability, or just, I don't know, fast forward out to the end until I talk about price and availability, stunning. How is this happening? It's bizarre. It's not like this is like one of those off brands that you're not so sure. Is it real steel? Is it, I don't know, is it real titanium, or whatever all those questions are. This ain't that. This is, I mean, Kubey's legit, man. And how this Mikkel Williamson design got past, you tell me, but you want to talk about a banging knife. I mean, this is too nice for me. I would never beat this knife up, but when you hear the price, what you can get this for, and I'll tell you right up front, on the front side of this video, Kubey's website, they want $220 for this knife. Is that a reasonable price for this? I think so. I mean, in today's market, for this fire anodized M390, I mean, for as solid of a knife as this, for a big banger like this with Hinderrisk grip and confident grip and what's going on here, how big this runs in the hand, how awesome this knife is. 220, I don't seems maybe just slightly on the high side. Maybe 200's right, but this is a premium Wonderful knife. And at the end, I'm going to talk about what you can pick this up for. And it ain't 220. And it ain't 200. Wow, this thing. I mean, let's get in it. Whew, man, is this a good one. So the question I had with the G10 version with the drop point is, do I like that drop point enough? Because I knew I had this one in a box. I just hadn't checked it in. And I'll tell you why. When I bought this one, I was worried about the Kubey sale ending. And so I was looking at higher end models. Well, I looked at this one, and there's another one that I looked at that I also picked up, a higher end version that, it'll show on the channel. It's got full titanium hardware, anodized. Yeah, all that hardware is titanium, the pocket clip, all the hardware. The steel insert is steel, obviously. Part of that pivot is steel too, I believe. We'll check that when we get it out. Probably this actual part, the collar's going to be titanium. But when I picked this one and the other one up, this was the one that was available. The drop point wasn't available, and I preferred it visually. And so the only one that was available was this tanto version, and I thought, man, I better get one because I'll regret it if I don't, because of the deal and the nature of it. But so I bought the tanto version, and then I bought the G10 drop point version because I thought, well, let me check the G10 version. If I don't really like this version, I'll put it in the purge and I'll have the G10 version. So I went ahead and did that. Well, I can tell you, checking out the G10 version, I'm stunned with this knife. How is this knife not a bigger deal? And I already know what I'm doing. I haven't shared it with you on this video, but as far as the drop point version, I mean, I'll tell you right now, I've got one in my cart, and this evening, when I'm done with this video, because this is it for the evening for me, when I'm done with this, I am placing an order for that drop point version because it's back in stock. That's what brought all this up. That drop point version showed up. I was doing my normal Kubey search on the channel, and lo and behold, that drop point version is back in stock. And so I thought, man, I better check in that G10 version. So I checked it in and was just stunned by how awesome it was. So it drew me to take this one out of the box and go, well, I have a Bravo in titanium, the upgraded version, but it's in this tanto version. So I was trying to decide, well, so here we are. I'm checking this one in. But I can tell you, I mean, it's kind of a cheat, but when I'm done here, I'm ordering this knife in the drop point version, and I'm ordering another G10 version because I'm going to give one away on the channel. Yeah. I mean, maybe I can stop, I don't know, blowing wind up this knife skirt, but golly, every now and then you just run into one, man, and this is one. This is, I mean, I'm not even a fan of big knives right now. Mostly in my pocket go little stuff, and I showed my pocket check earlier in the first video today, the G10, and kind of talked about that same thing of, most of the knives that go in my pocket nowadays are small to medium. I gravitate towards those. They're easier carries. I don't notice them in my pocket, that type of thing. But even with all of that, this knife is, I mean, it's the epitome of a pocket knife. Is that a strong statement? I mean, am I going too far? So even on the titanium versions, they use that little cutout in the pivot and then the little nib in the scale. So they even mill titanium scales with that little nib, not just the D10 versions. And I wanted to check, but I'm pretty sure they've mated a titanium screw onto a steel pivot pin, so to speak, or pivot. Yeah, it's like a pin, I guess. Where's my magnet? Let's check it. Yeah, so that's titanium and that is steel, which makes sense because the steel blade is pivoting on that steel right there. So yeah, that makes sense. Top shelf stuff though, man. It's what you would expect, what I would expect from a higher end knife. Now, it's just a production knife, you know. I mean, I'm not going to go crazy on it, but it's an awful good one, man. Big, fat stop pins, or stop pin. I don't know why I use plural there. It's unnecessary. Yeah, there's not going to be any tuning going on here because this thing already runs like a Swiss watch. Very mechanical, very controlled, precise. Yeah, all those things that you can say. I wonder if this little pin is titanium. No, that's steel. So a couple of steel parts. There we go. Backspacer, which weighs absolutely nothing. Yeah, feather light. Milled really tight on the tolerances. Like once it's on these two pins, there's no movement on that backspacer. I don't know what's that mean. Nothing, I'm pretty sure. In the big scheme of things, I can see where the detent ball is already cutting a path in that blade. Looks really good. Very refined. All right, final steps here. There we go. Golly. Yeah, I mean, pleasantly surprised and I'm not going to say overwhelmed, but I mean, whew. So far, the first Bravo, this one too, in hand. This Kubey Bravo, man. Golly. How have these gone so unnoticed and they're still available? I mean, for the price point that when I tell you this, what you can pick one of these up for, I mean, golly. The G10 version, on the Kubey site is $60. This one on the Kubey site, this is $60. On the White Mountain Knife side, they've discounted it to $45. And it's got 32.5% off of that, which makes this knife, no tax, delivered to you, $30. Is this the best $30 knife going? I mean, man, you'd have to make one heck of a case to tell me otherwise. This thing is something else. Whew. All right. Enough about that one. But this one, I'm going to be saying the same stuff. Watch. A little different numbers. Yeah. Look at the action on this thing. Really locked up. No wiggle. Closed, under tension, or free. Absolutely fall shut, drop shut. Not quite a guillotine, but I don't know. Like you wouldn't want to linger under there because it's coming. Blade centered. Spidey flick is pretty good. The thumb flick is good. You just gotta, for me, I gotta get back far enough. I suppose if you really dug in, you could get it up front. But in order for me to get it here, see, I tend to want to lock myself out right there. So if I go back farther, I can get my fingers off of that lock bar, and then it's easy. Break that detent and run it. And then if I remove the lock from the equation, yeah, look at how free that thing is. Those bearings, oof. Come on, man. How much lockup do I have? 30%, I guess. Yeah, so how am I going to rate this action? I mean, it's A level action, not A minus. It is A level, and I'm trying to think, how could I make it better? Access to the lock bar. This side's lowered and scalloped. The frame lock is scalloped and easy to come across with the thumb to engage it, and then reasonable tension to press across and unlock it. We're breaking the detent ball right there. I mean, right at the very top, right there. I've already broke it. How could I make this better? I mean, the whole question is, if I can't make it better, then I'm willing to give it an A plus. If I can find some fault in it and go, well, this, you know what I mean? All right, I'm just going to call it an A plus. It's got A plus action for what it is. Back flipper, and then with these fullers, it's A plus action. So if you bought the knife, I would tell you to expect A plus action. It's A plus. Put it in hand and run it. I mean, you definitely could come back and go, well, man, I don't think you're right. That's not A plus action. And honestly, I would very reasonably say, fair enough. Tell me why it's not A plus. I mean, I'll hear the argument. What is it? Where's the flaw? What would you improve on this action? If you could improve it, what would it be? Because I'm at a loss. I don't know what I would improve here. So I'm gonna call it A plus. Let's talk about the ergonomics. So just like the G10 version, man, there's not so confident, confident, and very confident, on this scale across here. And this thing just climbs right up to very confident. The flipper tab acts as a lockdown for the index finger. And then the nature of this grip, it narrows in here. Those three fingers lock in. This locks in behind the finger tab. The pocket clip is basically invisible there. I mean, I can feel it, but it's not hot at all. Wonderful combat jimping on the spine for a thumb forward, or this power grip right here. Both are up to the top of the scale. Wonderful, confident grip on this thing. And if you reverse grip, just the way that this is contoured right here, perfect platform for the thumb. And with this tanto coming down with this one, I mean, ooh, yeah, I could absolutely. I think I said on the other one, you could drill holes in a flute with this, and you definitely could. If you wanted to, drill. You tell me, man. But super strong tanto point, hollow ground blade. I mean, the ergonomics on this thing are stunning. Let's check the pocket clip. It's probably one of the main differences from this one to the G10 version. Yeah, it looks like it's going to get over the thick stuff and boom, run all the way home. And what a beautiful profile in there. It's deep carry for a milled clip. It's just the nature of it. It's not going to completely cover. Good tension. Little suspect on the thinner stuff, I believe. This is jean thickness right here. And I mean, it's got good grip, but I wouldn't call it a dryer clip. And it's a heavy enough knife. I mean, it's got decent tension. I would just be a little concerned about this in my back pocket if I took off running. If I took off running, like this knife has moved. See that? It hasn't held on. So I think I'm going to try to put just the tiniest little bit of tension on this. Yeah, so I removed the pocket clip and I wanted to share. They've milled out the titanium and then we've got really nice, three nice, really straight lines on the clip. So as long as that screw stayed tight, this is going to be secure, even with just one screw in it, because it's recessed so well. So what I'm going to try to do now is just flex this clip and put just the slightest little curve in that, which will bring some tension on that clip down against the frame. Yeah, and there I added just a little bit, almost imperceptible, the tiniest little bit of curve across this radius right here. And that's going to add some tension to this clip. So I'm going to put a screw back in it and we'll check it. There we go. I mean, what a good evening, man. Just run myself right into some amazing. I don't know why I'm running the action. What's that got to do with the pocket clip? All right, let's check it on the thin jean size material. Yeah, a lot more tension there. Yeah, wonderful. I mean, I didn't overdo it, but so I'm running, and it didn't move at all. Yep, it's locked down now. All right, let's check it for safety. Safety. Ooh, that's a cavern too, man. That is a big, I can almost get my finger down in there. Like, look how much of my fat finger's stuffed down in there. But yeah, no blade contact. The tip is buried behind there. It's wonderful. So there's no tip contact. So the clip is awesome. The tip is good. And there's no chance of some random incidental blade contact in the pocket. So yeah, wonderful. Let's check these edges. What's going on here? Check that hollow ground first. And it's goofy sharp. I think I could benefit that with a strop. We'll see. Let's check this top tanto. Yeah, it's just as crazy sharp. But I'm gonna throw a quick strop on both of these, and I'm probably gonna pause the video, but I do want to run through it. So I'm gonna do this top one, and then do the other side. I'll do this one. Let's say 3 passes on the top, and then I'm gonna do that bottom one separate. Because what I don't want to run over that tip, because that's a cutting tip, no different than this. So I don't want to run over them. I want to treat them as separate edges. And all I'm doing here is looking to maybe knock off some small random micro burr or whatever. So I'll run that top one through the wood, and then I'll run this one through the wood. And then one stroke each way. I was going to pause it, but the whole thing's going to take about 20 seconds, so what the heck, I'll just do it. All right, let's check that edge again. So we'll start with the top this time, which it did really well. I mean, I definitely didn't hurt it. Crazy sharp. Look at this edge. And that's on this thick stock. How thick is that stock? I mean, I don't have calipers and all that, but what is that? Is that 1/4 of an inch? Nah, it's not 1/4, but I mean, it's thicker than 1/8 of an inch. I mean, wow. That's some thick stuff, man. All right, well, crazy sharp. Here's the fun part. Price and availability. So White Mountain Knives is the spot. I don't even need to look it up, man. Like, I already know. So White Mountain Knives, this thing's retailing for $220. White Mountain Knives has it discounted down to $165, and that's for this Tanto version, flame titanium. They have plain titanium, and a couple other. They don't have blade shapes, but I think they might have a blacked out version. I'm not sure, but $220 for the drop point or for this Tanto. White Mountain Knives has them down to $165. Then they're offering 32.5% off once in cart if you put Kubey in the coupon. Oh, pardon me, in the coupon section. So that, in essence, that brings this down to like $110. Come on, man. $110 for this banging, wonderful beast of a piece. I mean, so I'm back to this thing about it being a work knife. For $110, I'm just saying, you could put this in your pocket and put it to work for $110. I mean, at $220, I don't know. Do you want to be digging a staple out of a board with a $220 knife? This knife is awful nice to be digging staples out, even if it only costs $110. But at $110, you could buy this wonderful knife and Monday morning stick it in your pocket and go to work. And everybody's like, what do you got there? It's just my new pocket knife. Well, bro, that is so nice. What are you digging? Man, I didn't buy it to look at it. It's kind of, I'll wrap up with this. It's my philosophy with pickup truck beds. I buy a brand new truck, and I mean, nowadays a new truck is 70 to 100 grand for a decent, nice four-wheel drive truck, right? It's crazy how expensive things are. But I mean, the day I go pick it up, the stuff that I have in the bed of my current truck, chains or jacks and bricks or whatever, I'm throwing them right in the bed of the new truck. And I've had people like freak out, man. What are you doing? And it's like, well, if I can't throw stuff in the bed of the truck, that's why I got it. Day one, I'm scratching it up. I don't care. It's the bed of my truck. It's going to get used. And so I resolved a long time ago to just put it to work. Well, that's how I would feel about this knife, especially at $110. I mean, what an amazing work knife right here at a $110 price point. And the $110 isn't buying you beautiful, although it's coming in the package. This thing is a beast. It is a big, solid, wonderful, very capable knife. I mean, Kubey Bravo. Check it out, y'all.